Our praises to Yahweh, Basham Yahweh Shai, the land of the elders at James, greatness stone, and all the brothers in the highways and the byways, pushing the truth, sincerity and in truth. You know what I mean? We want to go into some scriptures, just for some edification, mainly to the younger brothers coming into the truth, not just a reminder for the senior brothers in the truth. We'll start from the first chapter, the first scripture. So, first scripture, which is Ecclesiastes 3:1, right? This is Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1, and then we jump to 4. It said, to everything there is a season and a time, to every purpose under the heaven. Verse 4, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. Now, this is mainly, we are talking about the nation of Israel right now, because Israel are the nation where they're in a punishment, right? Israel are the man where they face punishment now. The nation they face punishment now, right? Mainly the man them we are sigh and cry for the abomination of this current system. You know what I mean? So it's a time for everything and every purpose under the heaven, because it will come a time when the mourning about Israel mourning about turn to laughter. You know what I mean? I'm going to go to the second precept, which is James the 4th chapter. Right? Right, this is James the 4th chapter, verse 9. It said, be afflicted and mourn and weep, let your laughter be turned to mourning and your joy to heaviness. Right? Because we're in a punishment, right? You can basically, when you're in a prison, you can build a house in a prison, or say you build a family in a prison, right? Or say you want a car in a prison. You know what I mean? So that mainly to talk about it is be afflicted and mourn, right? There's no joy when you're in a prison. In verse 10, it says, humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord, and he shall lift you up. You know what I mean? So and the word humble there, so it means to brought low, to bring oneself low. You know what I mean? So you have to afflict yourself, humble yourself in the sight of the Most High. You know what I mean? Go to the next precept, which is James, which is 1 Peter 2 verse 20. He said, for what glory it is when one is buffeted for your fault, he shall take it patiently. But if when he do well and suffer for it, he take it patiently, this is acceptable with the Most High. And buffeted, this in the scripture in 1 Peter 2 verse 20 mean repeatedly, mean to eat repeatedly, or somebody pounding you repeatedly, or pounding you up repeatedly with adversity, right? It says to be buffeted for your fault, you shall take it patiently. Now all of the punishment where mainly the man that we are put to the word of the Most High, all of the affliction and all of them things there, happen repeatedly to your brother. Just take it patiently. You know what I mean? Because that's where the punishment are about, to make it perfect. You know what I mean? That's why you fall. That's why you get beaten, because when you disobey the heavenly Father law, that are the reasons for all of this. You know what I mean? For all of the punishment and the affliction I go through because of disobedience. Alright, now go to the next precept, which is the next precept, which is James 4 verse, James chapter 5 verse 8. He said, be patient, be ye also patient, establish your heart, for the coming of the Lord draweth nigh. And establish, when you look up the word establish there, they mean to confirm, right? Or to make sure, right? To make sure of what? He said, grudge not, verse 9, he said, grudge not one another, brethren, lest ye be condemned. Behold, the judge standeth before the door. Take thy brethren, the prophet, who have spoken in the name of the Lord, for an example of suffering, affliction, and of patience. Right? Now you have to make sure so you don't have a grudge against your brother. That is one of the things. Make sure so you're firm in the faith. Right? Confirm your heart. Right? Whether you need to grow in the grace, right? Or grow in the faith. Right? You need to make sure that you ain't tighten up the loose end. Isn't it? This is verse 10. He said, take my brethren the prophets, who have spoken in the name of the Lord, for an example of suffering, affliction, and of patience. He said, behold, we count them happy which endure. Now them all of the man them will endure to the end. Right? And during all of your trial and affliction, right, you need humbleness and patience. You know what I mean? In order to be exalted. Right? He said, ye have heard of the patience of Job, and have seen the end of the Lord, that the Lord is very pitiful and of tender mercy. Now the patience of Job, right, refer to all of Job substance them get taken from him, but what him humble himself before the face of the Most High. Right, and take all of them things patiently. Job is a prime example. You see me? Now we go to the next precept, which is Matthew 18 verse 4. Right? It's Matthew 18 verse 4. It said, whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Now, continue. I bring out the word humbleness. It means to bring oneself low, right? In terms of pride, right? Show your pride and all of them things. And you have to be careful of knowledge, same way, because when knowledge increase, the scripture tells us, and knowledge puff it up. You see me? So you have to be careful whether increase in your knowledge, right? And use it for even your advantage, you see me? So you have to be careful in your knowledge, same way, right? And not get lifted up in a pride or any other thing. You see me? Or flesh lust or worldly lust. Any one of them things that can cause a brother to get lifted up. Humble yourself and take the affliction patiently, right? And the next scripture we go to is 1 Corinthians 6 verse 7. There's 1 Corinthians 6 verse 7. Alright. Now therefore there is utterly a fault among you, because ye go to the law one with another. Why do we not rather take wrong? Why do we not rather suffer yourselves to be defrauded? And humbleness only means to talk less, right? It also means you have to suffer yourself to be defrauded in matters where concerning the brotherhood, right? Don't go to the law try to even justify yourself. You see me? Suffer yourself to be defrauded, take the wrong, right? That is a form of humbleness, same way, right? It not only means to talk less, right? And it also means like to know when to say things, you know what I mean? Know when to talk and all of them things, right? The right time to say certain things, right? All of them things are humbleness. Okay, so make sure say your spirit humble, right? And at the sight of the Most High, right? And He will exalt you. You know what I mean? And the next chapter, next scripture over to, next scripture over to is 2 Corinthians 1 verse 6. Right? So everything you have to take it patiently, because it's for Him. Your reward is sure. Right? Your reward sure. See? So 2 Corinthians 1 verse 6. It says, whether we be afflicted, it is for your consolation and salvation, which is effectual in the enduring of the same suffering, which ye also suffer. or whether we be comforted, it is for your consolation and salvation. And the word consolation there, it means to comfort someone who is unhappy. The elect men of Israel is unhappy. The prophets of the Most High are unhappy. You know what I mean? Because of them, the prophets of the Most High are see the fault on this wicked system, right? The fault of this wicked system and the corruption, right? And mainly the suffering, and all of them things. So you say whether we be afflicted, it is for your consolation, it's for your comfort and salvation, which is effective in the enduring of the same suffering which we also suffer. Or whether we be comforted, it is for your consolation and salvation. And our hope of you is steadfast, knowing that ye are partakers of the suffering, so shall ye be also in the consolation. Right? So shall ye also be in the consolation. Now, the word console, it comes from consolation, right? It means to comfort also, right? So, brother, just that, hope me edify somebody still, right? And, shalom.